To put this in perspective, what's happening, for example, just with Bitcoin, it is down about 70% from its all-time high right now, and it doesn't help that some of the exchanges on which you can trade a lot of this stuff are making it increasingly difficult or under financial duress of their own to trade all of this stuff. Enter Grant Mitterlehner, the MittGroup CEO, blockchain CEO. Grant, nothing panics investors like seeing that the exchange on which they trade this, Celsius comes to mind, won't let them. How bad is this?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not good, but we talked on this before, is that one of the most important things that investors need to be aware of is when Bitcoin and crypto is completely separate from the exchange. They're not the same entity. And so when you're purchasing something on an exchange, as soon as you get it, you need to move it to a cold or warm wallet where you're protected from hacks, you're protected from anything happening, for example, like we saw with Celsius or any other exchange where there could be some issues, economic issues that could bring them down, and they could actually take your Bitcoin because it is on their exchange. So make sure that investors understand you have to move this to a cold or warm wallet so you can be protected.
But in the case of Celsius, they can't even do that for the time being, right?
Exactly, and that's why as soon as you purchase it, you want to move it immediately. And what we're going to see is a lot of new investors have entered the crypto space over the last few years. It's been a terrific bull market, but not many of these investors have even witnessed or experienced a bear market in crypto. And it's going to take about 1.5 to 2 years, and we're going to see a lot of people who thought they were better than they were get wiped out, and that's part of it. It's happened in the tech boom in the early 2000s, and it's probably likely going to happen now where you're going to see a lot of the smaller players get wiped out. And it's important that you're intelligently investing into smart assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as soon as you're purchasing it, you're moving it to a cold or warm wallet so you can be protected from hacks and from anything happening on a network, kind of like what happened with Celsius just this week.
You know, for those who invest in a lot of this stuff, it trades 24/7. And maybe it was just my magic. I get up very early in the morning, I'm sure as do you, but when this story was in the Wall Street Journal and others that the Fed might be contemplating, no doubt a leak story at that, a 3/4 of a point hike tomorrow, I just noticed that selling sped up. Would a bigger than expected rate hike be bad for this investment strategy?
Right. So I think the macroeconomics are just taking over every single asset class right now. The markets are rattled. It's affecting every single sector, every single investment. And so I do think it's likely going to affect crypto in the short term, but long term, I still think it's going in the right direction. There's a lot of disruption here. This is a new investment class. There's a lot of new investors that aren't used to the volatility on top of the macroeconomic situation that we have now with likelihood of a recession on the way. So I think what we have to realize is at the end of the day is if you're betting over the next 5 to 10 years and your dollar cost averaging, you're keeping your crypto off of exchanges. Storing Bitcoin over the next 5 to 10 years will likely be the best investment over the next 10 years by a landslide. But you have to be able to stomach the volatility, and you have to make sure that it's less than 10% of your portfolio. But for the short term, I think there will be continued volatility, and I think it's going to impact every single sector, not just crypto.
Finally, are you surprised that Bitcoin and some of these are not holding up better in this stock sell-off, that they're going right along with it? In fact, getting hit worse than those stock investments?
No, I'm not. At the end of last year, I remember saying on Fox that we're likely going to enter a bear market either in the first or second quarter of this year. Bear markets in crypto are different, and each time the plus side is that the bottom gets a little bit bigger, and slowly over time it's increased, and we've reached new highs. And bear markets in crypto, they're serious, and new investors just have to understand this is a part of the process, and this is a massive buying opportunity to get something that was just trading at under $70,000 for about almost 1/4 of the price. And so you take advantage of it, you store it over the next 5 to 10 years, and you're going to definitely come out on top. But you got to be able to stomach it, and you got to protect yourself.
And you have to have nerves of steel to absorb all of that.